What is up? So let's take a look. I got 3 different AK mags here made by US Palm. So let's take a look at these fucking things. I mean, they say in here they're the world's most advanced AK-47 magazine. You know, I think I may beg to differ, but I think let's answer a question. Are they worth the money or are they not? So what you've got here, you got about, let's say 18 to 20 bucks. You got about 10 to 11 bucks for these. And I don't even know why I bought this fucking thing right here. This banana, other than the fact I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, look at this, look at this. Look at this fucking thing. But let's dive into this. Alright, so here we've got the regular US Palm magazines. And as you can see, they've got these metal reinforcements here. And you've got this one, which is the cheaper variety, that does not. And basically this ugly fucking thing right here, it's the same as this. It's just yellow. Okay? So here's one problem you're going to have right off the bat that we have to address. Kind of this elephant in the room with these things. Let's say you're running an Arsenal AK, or your wife is running an Arsenal AK, or you're like a pussy ass guy with small hands, or maybe you're injured from a typing accident. You might not be able to get these things in your fucking gun. I mean, let me tell you, you got to put some pretty decent force to get these things in there. Now the good news is, you jam this in your gun and you go outside and you need to run some dude off. Well, you're probably going to scare the shit out of them anyway. But the bad news is, your gun is not going to fire if this thing ain't seated properly. And you just need to be aware of that situation. You have to hear this thing click in your fucking gun before it'll work properly. Now, again, another good news is that my 12-year-old son didn't have any problem. He was running this right here. He was running this ugly yellow one. And he just said, "Oh man, you just got to slam it in there." So it's just something to be aware of. You know, if your wife's running an AK or you're not the most manly of men, you might not be able to get this in your fucking gun, right? So just be aware of it. Practice before you need your weapon. Okay, so for comparison, watch this. Here's the Circle 10 mag. Again, see that? No problems. This is the Palm mag. So watch this. See that? It does not seat. So you can push it hard. Just take this and go. Even then it didn't seat. Ready? And now it's seated. But and this is a really awkward position to put a mag in an AK, right? I mean, if you're in the right position and you can smack it, you're good. But I just want you to all be aware that it's not super easy. It comes out fine, but again, even with moderate force, well, there it went. See, it went that time. Just something to be aware of. Okay, now we got that covered. And that was in an Arsenal SAM7-SF. Okay, that's the only AK I have presently, so I can't comment on other ones. So now let's look at these two here. And basically, other than having these metal supports, these metal reinforcements right here, I mean, these things are exactly the same. And I'm going to tell you right now what I'm not going to do, because there's plenty of other guys on here that do it, and they do it good, and it's kind of their bit, and I'm going to just let them continue it. I'm not going to go like fill this thing up and run over my F-250. I'm not going to fill these things up and like drop them from like a 30-foot ladder, right? I mean, again, if you want that kind of content, which is, I mean, it's cool. I like to know the breaking point, but I'm not going to do that. It's not my deal. And, you know, I try to take care of my shit. I don't really just like to abuse the shit out of it just to see how much it, you know, I can give it before it breaks. So when I look at this, I don't have I ever had any problems with any of these things operationally. That fucking dog over there. So you hear how that dog's not barking anymore? That's why they make 300 blackout and suppressors. Alright, so what I was trying to show here, if you see the metal reinforcements, this is the $18 to $20 one, and this is the $10 to $12 one. If I'm just going to go to the range, even if I'm just going to, I don't know, man, I'm not going to let this magazine scare me off without the metal reinforcements. I mean, we got to be real to what your actual application is. Look, I'm walking around a ranch killing hogs. I'm not taking my gun and beating it against fucking rocks. I'm not jumping out of a airplane and my AK's getting beat to shit, right? So, you know, I think for most reasonable applications, I'm not going to shy away from this $10, $12 magazine. Now, I mentioned if you are running an arsenal, I mean, you might want to go with something else. I mean, because, like I said, you can jam these in the gun, and once they get in there, they work fine, man. I mean, they work fine. There's no problem. But, again, just be aware they are a little bit hard to get into guns. I've had zero malfunctions with any of these. I've actually used this one the most. And as it stands right now, I mean, these things seem pretty solid. So you got $25, you got basically 20-ish, and you got 10-ish. I always say one thing, and that's if you don't have magazines, you ain't got a gun. If it were me, and I'm just going to tell you straight out what I did. I bought 5 of these. I have 2 of these. I've got some Circle 10 mags. I have 4 Circle 10 30 rounders, and I got 2 Circle 10 40 rounders. And that's all I got for my AK, for my Arsenal AK. And I'm pretty comfortable with that. I'm pretty comfortable. I think as a general rule, you need to have at least 10 magazines for every gun you own. So I'm past that, and I think I'm good. And, you know, here's the real question. Are these things 50% better than this? And I would say probably not, man. You know, if I'm a penny pincher and I'm trying to save some cash, I'd probably buy about 7 of these, about 3 of these. Let me know if you have any questions.